On to the topics. So, actually, going off of the Mass Effect Andromeda talk from our news, you want to talk about, Jordan, how to handle hype? You want to clarify?
How to handle hype. That's a good way to put it, I think. Hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, it's how, and we've talked about this a lot, me specifically with Mass Effect, and how EA has handled the hype and how BioWare has handled the hype, and I don't think they've done well at all. We'll see how they handle this in 7 event, but I think this is more handling hype from the gamer's perspective and how we go about it. What's kind of your ritual leading up to a game release that you're really excited for? Do you play or replay the earlier games in the series? Do you read or watch some of the multimedia stuff that goes along with that universe? Do you just watch a bunch of gameplay videos and trailers? What's kind of your deal with hype? How do you go about it? And how do you keep from getting overhyped?
Okay.
I'll give a little example here, even though it's not a video game. The final full trailer for Rogue One, the Star Wars movie, came out today, and I'm really excited about that movie. But recently I made a big decision to, really with movies, but kind of with games too, I'm really trying to only watch the first trailer.
Same.
Of anything that comes out. Like, even if it's a teaser, which is kind of perfect because it doesn't show much, I'm really just starting to watch the first trailer. It gives me an idea of what it is without spoiling the whole thing, and then you don't get trailer 2, 3, and 4 where it's like giving you these big character reveals or these big reveals as far as story or plot or whatever. I don't like that because I like to be surprised, and I feel like, people say, oh, well, movie trailers these days give away everything. I think movie trailers have always given away everything, and same with game trailers. RIP. You've always seen the end of the game, like cutscenes from the end of a game that you just didn't know were the ending until you played the game. So I don't think that's a new thing, and so I've kind of just had to reel it in and reel myself in on the hype some because I've gotten overhyped for games, and it's like you get so hyped up on a game and then it comes out and you almost don't want to play it just because you're tired of it already, which is weird because you haven't even played it, but you're just tired of like seeing the aesthetic, seeing cutscenes or seeing trailers, and it just kind of your hype kind of withers. So go ahead and spell it out for me, boys. How do you deal with hype?
I agree with you.
Yeah, go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, I agree. For most games anyway, there's just too much out there too early. And if you watch every last thing, then you're diluting the experience of the actual game when you do get it. Now,
Absolutely.
I like to watch 1 or 2 trailers. Not really any more than that. I don't want to watch any gameplay really, other than like the gameplay that's in the trailers. I don't want to watch 40-minute gameplay videos before I get a game.
Get a feel for it, yeah.
If it's a game I know I'm buying anyway, if it's something I'm like borderline on, then that stuff is great.
Right.
You get a better idea of what it is. But for like games that we get hyped on and that I'm going to buy no matter what, yeah, I try to stay away from stuff, especially more and more these days. Like I just try to stay away from everything as much as I can. It's hard. I'm a sucker for the trailers though, so I always get in the trailers, just because they usually don't, especially for games, they don't give away like too much. I don't think they're that bad, but when there's 5 of them, then yeah, you're getting into that territory.
I love a good trailer, yeah.
Yeah, but then you brought it up earlier too. That's another thing I do is kind of go back and play some of the old games. That's why I just played for the first time Skyward Sword, just because of all the hype I have around Breath of the Wild. So I just wanted to go back and get that in, and I'm thinking about finding a way to get back and play Twilight Princess again. Before that, but I mean, I'm only like semi having that desire because of the hype around Breath of the Wild again. So that's part of it too. So and kind of like you getting into Mass Effect, I think that has a little bit to do with that there at least. So yeah, everyone's a little different. Then the last part of my ritual is buying a couple of Red Bulls and some Oreos and having an all-night gaming session.
I don't know about those two in combination. That's a little messy. You don't dip them in your Red Bull, do you?
Oh yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Gross.
Oh god.
I think the biggest side effect and the worst side effect of hype is pre-orders. I think that a lot of times people will see the first trailer for a game, get hyped up, and then pre-order a game, and then it turns out it doesn't come out for 10 years. Like all those people that pre-ordered Versus 13 or whatever it was called, Final Fantasy 15. Like, but as far as hype goes,
have you heard about those receipts?
Yeah.
Like
crazy.
people have receipts that say they pre-ordered Final Fantasy Versus 13.
That's insane. But as far as hype goes, I think I've learned to manage my expectations, and I don't really get super hyped.
Yeah.
Like even for Mass Effect, so like Mass Effect is my favorite franchise. I'm excited for Mass Effect Andromeda, but I wouldn't say I'm like hyped or intense about it. Like I can't wait for that game to come out, but I'm not hyped. It's weird. Like as far as like the trailers and stuff too, I made it a point not to watch that Rogue One trailer today, just because I'm like, I already have enough. One of the best things about Star Wars is the intrigue to me, and walking into that movie theater and not knowing everything. Like I was pretty good at doing that with Force Awakens, and I enjoyed that because it's like this whole spectacle of it. Now I'm super guilty. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you bring up a good point. So The Force Awakens did an awesome job at that. Even in all the trailers, and it was known that Mark Hamill was in the movie, but they handled it so well because no one actually knew what his role was going to be in that movie, and I thought they played that so perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had been in the trailers, then his whole part in the movie would have been in the trailers. So
Exactly.
Spoilers, but
I think I'm super guilty of watching too many things when it comes to superhero movies in general. It's weird because like for a lot of normal movies that aren't superhero movies, I watch the first trailer and I'm good. I'm like, I understand that. I put it on the list. I'm like, I want to watch that. But when it comes to superhero movies, I'm just so invested in superhero culture. Like I love it so much. I'm like, oh, what's in this one? What's in this one? What's in this one? Are they going to show Ant-Man in this trailer? But I mean, you got to indulge yourself sometimes. But yeah, as far as like hype in general, I've just learned to manage expectations. I think people need to learn that too, so you don't get no man's skied. And I just really think that you need to come to terms yourself with when you can hype yourself up and when you can't. And I think it also goes to the whole hype train of the 6 months to the 1 year of video games. Like if I was so hyped for Fallout 4 and it was because they announced it and said it was coming out really soon, and that got me super hyped because it's kind of like the adrenaline factor of like, you know, your endorphins get really high and then they go away and then you forget about the game and then you're like, oh yeah, it's coming out, and you're not excited anymore. But the fact that game is coming out,
you can only keep it up for so long.
Yeah, exactly. Wink, wink. And yeah, it's just it's tough to manage that. So we got to learn to manage that better.